The police in Kumasi is investigating the shooting incident at the NDC office Monday morning. Some men on motorbikes disrupted a meeting between national and regional executives of the party. 2 people were shot multiple times. 1 died from the gunshots. Addressing the media in Kumasi, ASP Godwin Ahianyo of the Police Public Relations Unit named Warrior, Damos, Mejima and Abu Taliban, who are members of the NDC vigilante group, the Hawks, as suspects.
Preliminary investigation has an ongoing meeting between the national executives of the party and the regional executives. The national executives, the members were Mr. Samuel Ofoswampofu, who is the chairman of the party, and Mr. Johnson Esiedun Kataya, who is the general secretary, and other party functionaries. That was around 12:30 p.m. when gun-wielding men on motorbikes invaded the premises, shooting indiscriminately.
ASP Ahianyo said the police is pursuing the suspects to assist in investigations.
The police is, however, working closely with the executives of the party to get the perpetrators arrested. The command will use this medium to assure the executives that it will do all it can to get the perpetrators arrested.
Away from that story about more insecurity in the airport, Divisional Commander Chief Superintendent Isaac Asante has debunked claims that he was pressured by Collins Dauda and John Jinapur to release those arrested and brought to his custody. Chief Superintendent Isaac Asante was presenting his evidence before the Commission of Inquiry here in Accra.
Chief Superintendent Isaac Asante told the commission that 7 people were arrested and brought to custody. According to him, they had sustained injuries before they were brought to the police station. He was questioned whether he directed that they should be issued a hospital form for treatment.
Chief, did you or you did not order for the men to be sent to the hospital?
I did not, but I'm very much aware because of the injuries they told me they have suffered.
The commission again asked whether he was pressurized by some NDC members of parliament to release persons brought to custody.
Honorable Dauda was insisting, and he even mentioned that you police people, when the sun rises, you make entry. So what do you want to tell me? You can't tell me the person who brought them. Then Honorable Jinapur just told him they should take my word and they should rather take the person to the hospital first so that maybe later they can take action on it.
Meanwhile, the Progressive People's Party PPP General Secretary Murtala Mohammed, who appeared before the commission, said the by-election violence was politically motivated.
My lord, they said it to us, the political party themselves. Yesterday, the Deputy General Secretary of one of the political parties said they are going to put together a vigilante group. The IGP called on Friday, I think on Thursday, that there's a need for the political party to disband vigilante groups. The Deputy General Secretary replied that no, they are going to put together a new one. So the point is, they create it, they fund it, and they benefit from it.
To some more stories, and workers constructing a new Tema Akunsobo rail line are protesting over poor working conditions at Shire Hills in the Greater Accra region. They accused their employer, AFCOM, of breaching their contract by not paying their agreed wages.
No union! No right! No union! No right!
The workers, numbering about 200, accused the management of intimidation, citing threats to prevent them from forming a union. But their major concern is management's failure to adhere to the contract terms.
TUC told us that they are supposed to mark us 27 working days. Up to now, they are marking us 22 working days, which is not allowed. The third parties in the company are Fidoki, Unique, Quick Job, Open Consult, and Jokode. 5 third-party agencies are working in AFCON right now, and they are cheating the workers, paying us 11 cedis, paying us 12 cedis. We cannot allow that. Once I for the AP of Makasim, he has a third party here, and he's also stealing from us. We don't want him here. All the third parties must go.
But the compliance and liaison officer of AFCOM, William Atipu, discounted their claims.
If they have grievances, they should communicate the grievance through their contractors. Something management can do. Why not? And today was a big surprise because we didn't expect this thing today.
The Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Benito Owusu-Bio, has described as satisfactory successes made in the fight against deforestation across the country. The Deputy Minister gave the commendation when he joined the staff and board of the Forestry Commission to inspect some use in afforestation project sites here in Accra.
The reforestation agenda of the Forestry Commission is targeted to plant some 26 million seedlings on about 24,000 hectares of land across the country. The Youth in Afforestation program over the past 8 months have planted about 10 million seedlings on some 8,000 hectares nationwide. The Deputy Minister for Lands and Forestry, Benito Owusu-Bio, expressed satisfaction over the successes chalked so far.
We are all witness to the current harsh climate conditions that we are experiencing. If we had started this years back, I think we would have been able to reverse it entirely. So this is a good beginning. And we only need to continue and encourage the Forestry Commission for the good work that they are doing. I am very pleased to see this year.
Areas visited include Tomefa near the Weja Dam, Joma and Agozome in the Ablekuma North District, Pantai in the Abokobi Municipality and the Achimota Forest. Benito Owusu-Bio assured of government's continuous support for the program to ensure its sustenance.
In 10 years' time, we will not see only shrubs in Achimota Forest because currently it's just a shrubland. Where are the trees? There are no trees here. But in Accra, we say Achimota Forest. If you go to the Ashanti and Western and then you go and say this is the forest, they'll laugh at you. So, Sir John and the Forestry Commission is doing a good work and we should encourage them.
Chief Executive Officer for the Forestry Commission, Kojo Owusu-Efriye, hinted of plans to extend the project beyond the 2-year contract period.
And now to politics. Members of the coalition of the MPP Youth in Tamale are demanding the resignation or removal of the party's regional chairman. The group, at a news conference in Tamale, argues that the chairman and some executive members from the newly created regions and ought to leave that position for new people to be elected there. Zubaida Ismail was at the news conference.
According to the group, the continues.
We'll bring you that story in our subsequent bulletins, but that'll be all for this morning. I am Wendy Lai, and thanks for joining us. New Day continues.
Yep,
good morning.
It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, February 19, 2019, the year of the Lord. Certainly a beautiful morning to come through to your homes from the studio TV3 here at Kanda Adisawe. But today is the birthday of some gorgeous, I think his nephew and a niece of two families. So I'll start with Jesse Asumda. This is coming from your Auntie Harriet here and also your family, the Asumda family. They wish you all the best. May God bless you. May you grow to be that handsome young man they're training you to be and to grow in the fear of the Lord.
And I would like to also say happy birthday to you, Davida 9pence. This from your father, Rexford 9pence. And special one to my beloved mother. My beloved mother. Come forth. Proper. It's your birthday today. Sweet mama, we love you. I love you so dearly. And also to you, Yvonne Ansa, previously a co-worker of Pudding Masters, is your birthday today. And Mrs. Augustina Ashi, it's your birthday today as well. So lots and lots of birthdays today. I don't know why. I think today is Petra's husband's birthday as well.
Mr.
Yes,
Samoa.
Mr. Sena Samoa, it's your birthday today. So we have about 7 people celebrating their birthday.
I'm sure if we're to go onto Facebook or other social media platforms, we'll see many more. But certainly we'll,
it should not be difficult for us to have some jollof or cake or something. Because if we have Davida, we have Jesse, we have Yvonne,
Senna.
we have Comfort, we have Senna, and we have Augustina.
Today, breakfast, lunch, and supper is on them.
Guys, make it happen. Make it happen.
But Johnny,
I'm forgetting that when I keep demanding for cake for my mother,
thank you,
it has to come from me.
Exactly. I was about to say, but you know, you are filling the shoes of your father and a son, and so you would have to provide so that it comes back to you. So as you ask for it, be careful what you wish for. But anyway, let's run our people through what today we'll be discussing.
Absolutely.
Daily rant. We'll be talking about the Takrady kidnapping case and the fact that the prime suspect has failed to, mention the alleged accomplices. We certainly don't seem to be making headways with that, but I hope they break through and get something important from him. And then
I don't know, but I don't want. I feel the pain of the families who have lost their relatives to the kidnapping incident. It's not a happy time at all for anybody like that. And I would wish that the police will expedite a lot of action on this particular one. You know that until we got the British and the Americans to come in, we were saying that we couldn't find the suspect. Right. And then later the suspect comes and says somebody from within the ranks of the police helped him to escape. It begs for questioning. I mean, and look, the people rightly are issuing ultimatum and all of that. Even though I don't support it, even though I don't support the ultimatum, I think that we need to do better. We can do better, actually. Trust me.
I think we can. We certainly can. It's all within our will and the desire to make sure these girls are found, because it's. I mean, if you put yourself in their shoes and you feel what they feel, Johnny, I believe if these were the children of the people themselves who are investigating this issue, they would do certain things differently. And so I'm just asking that they put their emotions in it and try and find these girls, because it certainly will bring a different light to it if you feel the pain for them, if you empathize with them.
True.
But when you remove yourself from the situation, then it's as if, okay, let's do our work as usual, and we'll get nowhere with that. But we certainly pray we find them.
Anyway, and we'll also be having a conversation with the Minister for Regional Reorganization and Development, the Honorable Dan Kweku-Botwe. Is going to be in the studio, and we will have a conversation with him. The creation of the regions are over. The choice of national capitals, regional capitals are over. Now we're moving on to integrating it and developing it. We want to know what the plans are from his outfit.
Johnny, do you know all your capitals now?
I know Nalerigu.
So we have Ahafo having Gwaso.
Gwaso.
Or Gwaso.
Yeah.
Then Bono East has Techiman.
Okay.
Northeast has Nalerugu, Oti has Dambai, Savannah has Damongo, and then Western North has Seshrios.
Yeah, that's it.
So interesting. So now, I mean, students are having to learn 16 regions. 16. I wonder when it will be integrated into the books, the textbooks, for them to know.
Yesterday I saw that the Statistical Service of Ghana had put out the new map and how it's going to look like. Well, that means that for every contest in this country that had previously 10 contestants, we'll have 16. For example, Ghana's Most Beautiful, we start having 16 contestants now, as opposed to having just 10, because every region would like to be fairly represented in all of it. And then, well, we'll go to Town Hall, or you want us to talk about Chamber?
No, we'll go to Town Hall, certainly, to find out what the District Assembly Common Fund at Pong Katamanso is doing and how that is going to affect the people in the area. Because we heard from Lekman, we've seen some improvements and some changes. We've gotten some answers. We'll also talk about women in politics there.
Yeah. It's just Portia Gapo with women. So it's a women and man como. More like, at Pong Katamanso. We'll bring you that conversation shortly.
And then Chamber.
Tell me about it.
Interesting topic. Feminism and the law. You know, Johnny, recently we've had too much
over Saturday and Sunday. It's been exciting on Twitter and Facebook.
I don't even want to talk about the social media platforms,
we won't talk about
because I mean, some people just don't have. I think it's okay to express an opinion. Fair enough. We're in a democratic dispensation. We're in a technological age. I mean, people have been educated to know better. I think you can always make your point without insulting.
True.
One person's opinion could certainly not be your view, and it's okay to express, divergent views. But the insults, it makes it difficult for people who genuinely want to even contribute to conversations. I mean, I wouldn't want to put myself out there just because I know some in quotes, silly person may twist the whole thing and just come back with insults. So why should I bother? And then I'll keep my comments to myself, and maybe if I put in a word that it could help another person.
Absolutely.
But the insult doesn't allow for good conversations on social media. And I think that has to be
another
dealt
dangerous thing that's coming up, something that's not so nice. When you have a dissenting view or you disagree with somebody, then it automatically translates into hate.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, if I want to express acrimony of any sort, why would I want to situate it in a dissenting view? I mean, for every positive, there's a negative. For every up, there's a down. For every forward, there's a backward. So if you put an issue there, for every left, there's a right as well. So if you put an issue there, I should be able to say, I agree with you, I disagree. We disagree here every time.
We do. And we don't know. We come back the next day and we're back to normal. But Johnny, we'll be asking exactly what consensual sex is. We'll also talk about predatory behaviors, because we seem to have subtle, attitudes.
Predatory and gross.
Yeah. Johnny, don't go there.
Oh, no, it's
So
okay.
we'll touch on that, what feminism, has to... No, I don't want that before they come and say things. So I don't know, we want to find out what the feminist position in the law is, and how, these two come together, and what really the law says about these. So we have clear lines. When you see this happening, it is consensual sex. When you see this, it's a predatory behavior.
Look, let me be fair. In our laws in Ghana, I don't think that a man can be raped. In our laws in Ghana, because the law says penetrated. So our laws in Ghana, first of all,
you can't be forced.
You can't. I mean, so
whatever happens,
it tilts more towards the women than the men, unless in the case of a sodomy. That's what I think, per what I've read. Number two, ever since we started this 1992 dispensation, we've had Ministry for Women and Children. Then we came to have WAJU, Women and Juvenile Unit. Then we came to have Domestic and Victim Violence Support Unit. And then we had Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. At the helm of affairs of all these ones have been women. Now, if you go to the police station right now and mention that you have been raped, the first thing the police will do will be to take down your statement, give you a medical form, and go and look for the suspect and pick the person up and keep the person for up to 48 hours and possibly charge the person if the investigations prove that he is guilty or not. Okay?
Not necessarily.
No.
I'll tell you the flip side of it when you finish.
Now, if I go to the police station right now and tell the police at the counter that I've been raped, what would be the first reaction?
Of course. I mean, in our cultural setting, that's why I think culture has a role to play, because they'll laugh.
But
I've seen females who have been there to report as well, and the first question they ask is, or something of that nature. And so I think it goes both ways, where we think rape and, all those things where sex is a gray area, and it's always like the person who's reporting it is the person who actually put themselves in the position to be raped.
I agree with you that there's no justification for rape, no matter what it is.
Yeah, but they'll laugh.
But then the percentage or the number of times that a gentleman will be laughed at because he walked up to the counter to say, even my wife has beaten me at home. The kind of ridicule they get right at the counter is as opposed to what a woman will get. And I'm saying that the law is different from the culture. Okay, even though it fits a bit into it. So we need to start looking at it. Look, we have had a gender ministry. We had Otikucha, but we have a new minister. Tell me how many times we have heard them make public pronouncements about the interest of men in public. Tell me. It has to do about women. It has to do about children.
Unfortunately, I think because women and children take the greater percentage of those who are abused.
We are all involved in building our motherland.
Indeed, we are. And that's why Dofsu is called Dofsu. It wasn't like specifically for women or children, because they did realize that some men were being abused and they were reporting because they didn't have that, atmosphere. But now they do. And I think over time, men have been reporting and they've been getting, the redress they actually are seeking. So I think it's getting better. But it's just because women are the majority. That's why the focus is more on them.
Majority carries the vote, but somebody says goat. Anyway, the Finder newspaper starts us off. It says 1 killed, 1 injured. NDC task force and the Hawks in bloody clash. New district housed in Market Building. 32 communities in Ofuasia Yoruba constituency get electricity. And government condemns murder of NDC task force member. Plus, RTI coalition kicks against blanket 1-year clause in RTI bill. The Custodian this morning. Bloodthirsty NDC Hawks on rampage. 32 communities in Ofasi Arabi get electricity, and that's Honorable Okpon Nkrumah is the MP for that area in a photograph there with his constituents. EC battles to implement ROPAL, and 2 petition Akufo-Addo over violent polls. Government condemns NDC shooting incident. The Ghanaian Times. Police branded vehicles belong to National Security. SWAT Commander DSP Samuel Kojo Azugu. Yesterday, he was the star of the day. Government inaugurates 6 MMDAs today, and 1 shot dead, another injured at NDC meeting in Kumasi. Okay, let's do some sports. A clash of the Titans as Liverpool take on Bayern. Atletico Madrid face Juventus. Kojo storm Zambia, and government denies extending mandate of normalization committee. And I'm sure we will say Manchester thrashes Chelsea. Yeah, they need a hug. Are you a Chelsea fan?
No.
Yeah, not a Chelsea fan. Yeah,
I
got it. Yeah, the women's fellowship of English football out there. Chelsea. Yeah, 6-0 to 2-0.
Johnny, let's go to and talk about what happened in Kumasi. I find it appalling. In Ghana, at this right now, I'll tell you the truth. Every time I drive in the morning on the quiet streets of Accra, I'm scared, because you never know what is waiting for you out there. And why should we be having people killed, injured? It's not even election year. I'm not saying it's precedented or accepted if it's election year. But this, we've just condemned one incident. We're even still investigating the incident, and we've had these happenings. And these are, for me, it's interesting because NDC not too long ago was condemning the similar act, on the NPP side. But you see, when we take away politics and we deal with it, we probably could have solved this issue and we wouldn't have gotten this far. But because of the politics we always attach to it, this is the result we get.
We'll go for a break, but here's my 2 cents on this matter. Shame on the politicians, NDC, MPP. Right from chairman all the way to the last person. On the NDC side, on the MPP side, shame on them. And I say shame on them because when the matter suits them or the matter suits them, they go out there and make statements. Then when the tables turn, they make statements. So they are playing victors and victim at the same time. Shame on you. Shame on you, because as politicians since 1992, both NDC and MPP, you know that as ACP Dr. Agozo said, the composition of the police council has a problem. And has a problem because it affords politicians to have a control of our security situation. And you know it, and you have not changed it, and you take advantage of it. Shame on you. Shame on you because, look, I've listened to the security couples at the Justice Emil Short Commission. I don't believe, look, having grown up in the barracks, I don't believe that our people are incompetent. I believe that something is wrong somewhere, and that something wrong somewhere is political influence. It happens in NDC, it happens under MPP. Now, you and I know, whether we choose to call them ushers or vigilantes, or they are criminals and hoodlums, and we've decided to clothe them in that. Who appointed them vigilantes? Who said our security agencies are not able to handle the situation? And yet both of you take advantage of it to get you're just power thirsty. You're just power thirsty, and people are losing their lives. People are living in fear. People are feeling insecure, and you come back and you say the police is not able to handle the situation. Shame on you. Shame on you, because you know what is right. And this is to the, the floating voter out there. Look, let me tell you this today. They make you believe that without NDC and MPP, we can never make progress in this country. That's a lie. Because look at all the electoral records we have had. NDC can never get that 50 plus 1 vote or 50% plus 1 vote on their own with just their members. Same for MPP. They can never ever at any election in this country, and I can put my salary on it, they can never ever ever get 50% plus 1 vote on their own with just their members. They need you, the floating voter, to always come along with them. Should we punish them at the polls, or should we just follow them because they come and give us handouts? With these people at the helm of affairs, they cause mayhem. Look at just what happened. Look at what happened. Somebody has lost a breadwinner. Just look at just what happened.
Anyway,
it's so pathetic. It's so shameful, and we have all been playing the ostrich with this. Look, the IGP, I feel sorry for him. He's been appealing to the political parties. Just because, and look, just yesterday when the matter came up, we're told that somebody somewhere within the party suggested or gave 4 names to be picked up. And meaning that they know these people. Those within the parties, they know them. I'm sure if you go to MPP and you want to check out the names of the persons at the House of West Wogon, they know the people. You are thinking why DSP Azugu yesterday decided that he was going to write the name of the person who assaulted Honorable Sam George on a piece of paper and he calls it in camera. When we are not ready to name and shame, they know the people who are behind it, but they are not willing to do it. How many times have we, as a nation, called for the fact that these vigilante groups must be disbanded? How many times have we called for it? What has happened in the matter of disbanding these vigilante groups? And you come back and you want to make us believe that as political parties, both NDC and MPP, because you are enjoying duopoly, unfortunately, you believe that you will play ping pong with the people of Ghana and risk our lives. People have to go to school. People must not live in fear. People must be able to speak up their minds and be safe. People must live in sanity. You can't continue to put people's lives in danger because somebody decided to become a police officer and there's wildfire and so he doesn't have ammunition and so he will be shot by some stray bullet because some ill-treated or ill-trained person is put up there as a vigilante. Shame on you if you're a politician and you are behind this. You are funding them, you are feeding the boys, you are calling them, you are encouraging them. Shame on you. Shame on you. I'm not happy with you.
Anyway, guys, let's put some brakes on it and take a break. We'll be back with Daily Run. Stay with us. This is New Day.
Welcome back and thank you very much indeed. And you can always join us with your thoughts and comments. 02021666633. It's now time for us to run, Doctor.
Yeah, we're ranting. We're talking about Takrade, the kidnapping, and the fact that the suspect hasn't been able to name his accomplices because that certainly will give us headway in finding these girls. So let's step out and find out what your take is on this happening.
And the prime suspect behind recent kidnap cases here in Sekondi Takrade, Samuel Walls, has perhaps led the Ghana Police Service and a team of investigators on another wild goose chase. When the court sat the other time, the suspect, Samuel Walls, explained to the court that one Kwesi and another police CID helped him escape. He told the court that he will be able to produce Kwesi when he's given some time. The court obliged and gave him some time. But today, when the case was called, Samuel Walls failed to show police prosecutors where the said Kwesi is. According to the head of operations at the BNI, when they went to Kanserod, where Samuel Walls mentioned that Kwesi is, Samuel Walls could not pinpoint the exact place where the Kwesi lives. So they came back to court with empty hands. This morning on Daily Rant, we are interacting with some onlookers to find out from them what they make of the turn of events. This is the Daily Rant. Let's keep talking.
And a very, very sad day. I say, Aquano, Nigeria, last week, you didn't back out, or Becca say, Fia didn't be a boa, no ma, Otimbeki Geno, and no bar, no Becca different, Yanti Bibia also. Now, me the Hamden said, the same crown now almost 6 months, and crying won't much you, Jan and I beg Jenny, I can't want it. But say, to Nigeria, on a gun and Nicoya Sadena, I got that treatment naked in before. You better pay you for no. You better take it long to our own hand. No more, Mamma, and yet when I said the Ghana, but yet not with the other. Them protection head your mano. It will be a crack train or no more. And planning here more. And yes, I did a demonstration. A more dear. One we are saying for a pray for me. Say, no, Nipa don't me brave, chase any pack or a Nipa crope. She ain't a do my Shady Paco. She enjoyment or enjoy. National Ye, you are better or man of Paco. Ain't what's in what finishing Uncle Ubiala and so on.
Mofana, as is a intention walk. Tiapawancho. Kufado on blast and way mumpa serious.
One chop him from an young one. Baby, one will be a yes, and the answer. Take water for your someone. One mama from an umbrella, I'll come to you.
Should we take the law in our hand? Say, even me, if they kidnap my sister, I should go forward to set by my own. Anything, or maybe weapon or anything, I should go forward. Because the security are not helping us.
I'm a member for a school or Air Force. Since you're about 3 years, or them what's an abunanum. Never chan, my chan, my from and because many are some of us. So I damn chan my show and I'm from Bako.
Oh, yeah, you more ways to a Western region. My in man there, Western region payful ni na so rebo mo homoden de omba force de bibia beto na kwem ba yempa ebo nyina de court na mo record court no nyam kopa nam na adum tu mu be ma court etum ze atu bebia eyeda oyede no ozeto
Ghana hanum say yempa ni foni sisiye eno na ade ba ko say yetim mfoni adwene ho wow there's no way say MPB ba akabade samasam we eda form sa by oyetima muntuntu MPs no ana Ghana penifoni wo muye Ghana penifoni muye is a Ghana penifoni muye so yeso dem la be hye nsem de wo se ye no yeso be ye ama yeso nsa kan ye ma
one thing the Ghana nkase ye security or ye poor order mframo gbono order YouTube dem mamble de kan MP bi ne ba nche sezi ma wo be ye bia na ekwam bia obofodu bia nsabaka na so ye ye nyafo ahochelefo nche hwemode ye wo me yemba kro ye wo school a ye we dwom kwa ye mia ehyen order YouTube ye suma anaso pone ya ye ko school won ye katsena ho na ye twena ansa na
se police ni bi ne ba na wo china wo hwehwe ba bia fra no wo ye pa won fra no ni ba na de DCB ni ba ana o ski mo fra na ko de mo fra na ba ye pa Ghana fancho ye pa
okay awu ya yawo de
what so you kwa na wi
awu o ya ya pa police no o ma padinu gwane no on point wa chire so the police first ke dinya wache
engine de ibe na olboleta
oh olboleta o si de ngwane fi sexual ene bo de senu gwe no mo otubu fi sexual nto chebi ko no ehu anti mo wu so no mu
woni fo no kwa pram do fa kim soldiers fo no no wan se no nya fo won na mbla no wona mba mo police fo wona mba nko munja wan
mo kodo no ye nchase cause 1 2 no wode na ba court wode na ba court a ni we jan no ko ye hu mo rukodo
so ye Western Regional Commander ne bank e bo me sma police for be den wo be togu mu is either one fa no kwa kra na de won je na wode no ba ha de mo onye no ba takra de no de mo amma me fu na pefun wo no bufu that is how it is.
If the government are not serious about this issue, we the citizens of Ghana we are going to take it serious. If anybody misbehave here,
we are going to take it.
We are going to bend that person seriously to ashes and humiliate. We don't trust anyone. If they misbehave, we the citizens of this country, we bend down. We bend them down. Seriously, we are serious.
Because you can't say that. From Anayo, and every blessed day, we go parliament. All they know is to drink tea. When it comes to Takrade right now, on Payfuno, Amamefuno, one about Obiaruso, you can see the tears from my eyes. It's so crazy in here. It's either they to stop bringing him to the courts here and do the right thing. I am a Takrade, sorry, on your son, Papa, why
yes, someone will move me a baby. Mummy baby obakasa because I want ya was so crow. No be I want the Bible so
out to film. I look to you. Aba man do akọ obe one boy na yale bla
baby aba fere we be won you won man na na ne yen mo from na ne yen yen won ba ta ne yem hyehyere ba pom yem hyehyere mo tu bubo ndi de yem mba so ya ha na to na to ma di mpo a entu me twa no
sisa ya ko school na na akumetu ya pa cadet mpa ya so opna ya nkote bebe fe yesu ne ye lugan ya pu school ya pu ni pa na ya le pide bebe akwa mi osisi ala ya wani aloko
ekwana omoda nimpa no ya spend petrol in and out I didn't quite border nipple border for you today. No, I Ghana food baby and I do not give the agol. I don't want to say some painful green can want to ya. Nigeria for our what on a day. You the one best him. I'm a some nature will do all. That's all 1 year to watch today. Nigeria for one and no one else in him, not the mintina, and one else in him. Talk about the Hano. Nigeria need Biala or tea or before Hana, young Fushani Panian. Or see a cheer if you're Rafana, Nigeria.
Ipako no wire the man and each other.
Omuka ho nkwasiade omo ya watan ha me teta ha bla nkwasiade omo ya wa ha no omo asa omo ton ade edu anwumira omo ya different anwo besipa ne no omo te ukokumasi a untumi ha dan Nigeria ni ba ha dan no 10 million 2000 na waje ukwa unya wa wo de ma no unya dan tiram nkwasiade
hwese ya chiri Nigeria ni se o peso o di nkwasiase wo Ghana ni Ghana maneko ade na mo me mfa rorin zema bio Ihe JJ Lawrence o mra no me sa kwasali na onyi fi o man. Ade na ebrese. Obani abefara ko sie for so many months. Ohunu. Ade atetini. JJ Lawrence should come back again. We need Lawrence. We need Lawrence. Please, we want Lawrence again.
We are seeing a woman there. Young Kana Quare. Now we are seeing a woman, but from watching. Sitting and making a maybe. No watch a wabasha with him. There, fair the corner. And I guane. No woman, what you are. Oh, but I'm here for you dead. No, chin a bay. No, I want a man of one and a one man of one. Nanda watching double quafono or dinner bar, also bachelor. I am more look at this or your gun and in his skin if you are awkward. Nay, what the track on Carlim, no other naba. No, Waba can awkward. No more from and when you want to point your from Anno.
Since a man paying free, the more could do here what it, but what will you go on young one ma into since I'm for I tell some now, I bet in the hair, Kakran, wage and Mogo. I bet in the year were a minimum. Since yet the man and Mangana was saying, and I want what was can work to come there were cut up with you. I hear you go, aha, Mokuya. Everything we are the pa. And what to what not to center what not to upon. Well, Lena, I've been telling party down. What to move one? Want to move one ma? On to Munkasan, what a gender down there.
Obutum ko wiade ofiden onu otumikasa na ono otuma chichen krofo bebre we di dem mo ne so nkasa nti oja ne dem no obutuma ye ne bibi obekasa wase ne on kasa onje ne bibi no ntumi nkasa
Ghana yan tiase se Nigeria for maybe wo free ba na oba be say mo from Asia yan tiase mo from na oyen first aso mu wi ya sana nipa no wakọ jail ama wagua no se da ne efa ye ho mo from no fine my first sana obe ya waye
anka Ghana ni asambra anka wadam na den na nipa onu wadi onu se sia no kwa ekom no wada ye di ni to V8 mu adan mpanyifo ne den na mudi ya Ghana when na asem kwesi bebi aye si nkronfo bi wa munti asem asem wanka si Ghana part bebi aka samre de be si ase awie mi esremni o sremni se nyina ya Ghana fo enti mba se Nigeria ne be fru bebi be di side man na still ya da so anka samre mi abigina hei samre mi amigina hei anka samre de mitu mu dada na adan na Nigeria ni wo fru bebi aba yeso so masa
enti Ghana mpanyifo won ko chapra abedi enti na wo so ban today Into Mawali, yam sumana, or sumana. What she been one back for so long? And up to now, what you know, Kokasa. And I answer you to your son, the from Nigeria for now. Ghana police or Bossara. Huh? I'm saying Pokuna Wye. No Pokuna Wye. And the go down to my son, I'm to man. Say, I'm fine there, MC in the banner watching now, and then the regular commander in the banner watching now. And Kabam and the bill are their condition. Until that can don't come many. One cannot call the time you have trigger no or Basson Lawrence regime.
Eba say zen. Eba sisi wa yebe ma chaba. No a chiwoba. Why you move from Anambra? And you bring say papa on the time the mobesia. Oh ya say papa. Why you move from Anambra? Mobesi. Oh ya say papa. Can say na go for over there this year. On 2020 don't vote for Western region. Assembly yede. A small one over match mo yemi here. No what you from the last year. It's why you from Anambra.
So also oba and watching afternoon when you watch about Tinkaden. About ya. Sana so kwanshana na bana watching so I am kwanches my brother. In terms of I am ya. This also by ya there. Na no woman mother plan be of my will be so what has no win continue there. One form of man Emra.
What I got some more like to the mayanati. And you come last in one city. My friend me back to you Mr. Singer. I police for we are yo papa. How we are young. How we are young. It's one shot my hand. How we are young. How we are young. How we are young. One shot my hand. On the Mikasa. On the Mikasa washa dala. On the Mikasa.
Ya kan ho. Ya kan ho anyo. Central wo so ne yo. Ya kan ho anyo. Yo.
Ibi na pi man cho na today. Ni chime wie yi mu ayimbi. Na sama wo me be yeju na saba fan. Na kwaka ndama oya. Imo Ghana fo mpanyimfo no. Won hye ni ye. Ya wa bedai. Ghana
na fia wa bedai one for the master me be kuro yi mu one ti mayen ma for me ya da chi ma frama ewrade ntima wan anto so pangu wan odo obi bibia na oba be kuro me anya ga da nyina enya so ya badwe won hoye ewrade ntima yan me batan no nyimi da no bebezi na ma for ma wa ya wan da me ewrade ntima wan ngofia wonyina want to do want to we Jesus ni tinam
says o man yetimi ye say abatu durida on won de impa bi ho do to aba na mom say wonya to aba we da ono se bowo se aba ya de o wonwe ya ho nti Ghana pamfu ye do ho ya won mamade ne wo fo na nsifam ma no wo ye no wo ye na ye dam na wo to mem ne wo ye
na because Nigeria jo ku won da do. What do
you think about this unfolding drama about cases of kidnapping here in Sekeni Takrady? You can go onto our various social media platforms and post them there. Thank you so much for watching.
All that I have, all that I am, to He who loves me more than anything in the world. You know what I'm going to do? I'm gonna trade all of my sorrows. I'm trading my sorrows. I'm trading my shame. I'm laying them down for the joy of the Lord. I'm trading my sickness. I'm trading my pain. The joy of the Lord. We sing yes Lord, yes Lord, yes, yes Lord, yes Lord, yes Lord, yes, yes Lord.
And well, we're trading all our sorrows, and on that note, we'd like to say a happy birthday to you, Kimatha Darlington Tay. It's your birthday today before you leave to school. Daily Guide is ready. It says boot for boot, NDC Hawks gunned down 2 vigilantes. I also probe. Gunfiring lasted 15 minutes. 1 ambulance, 1 constituency takes off. And stop showing off in my court. Jatu Opuni's lawyer. Kidnapper takes police on a wild goose chase. The Daily Graphic. NDC meeting in Kumasi turns bloody. 1 dead, another injured. Police on heels of 4 suspects. DVLA goes digital to safeguard security of vehicles. And I don't know why SWAT team wore masks, according to Commander Azugu. KNUST, Ghana Publishing Company, signed MOU to exchange skills. And, well, I think that's about it. Maybe the BNFT this morning and the finder, no, BNFT. It says car power ship to ease gas evacuation challenges. Power ship to be moved to Takrady Q2. And 5G is coming. Union wants government action on Volta Lake Transport coming. Company, and those are the front page stories. My guest this morning, well, there's something that caught my attention on this one too. BNFT says electricity tariffs already high, no need for upward review, according to the Association of Ghana Industries. My guest this morning is the Honorable Frank Anodom Press, the MP for Nsawama Treasury. Thank you very much, Honorable. Thank you. Yes. We're looking forward to the NDC's representative on the show this morning. But how's your Tuesday morning so far? You're in white.
Pleasant. It's a very pleasant morning. Greetings to my constituents, the people of Nsawama Treasury, and my colleagues, members of parliament, and the president, and all my friends and loved ones. It's a very good morning.
Is it? For me, it's not a good morning because yesterday, one more time, we reaped the very sour benefits of what has come to be known as political vigilantism in this country. And 1 person is dead, 1 more is injured. The police is looking for 4 suspects. Is this the way to go?
Well, obviously not. It's not the way to go, and it's not something that anybody should be happy about. But on this note, from the report I've listened to, and then as at yesterday, I think the police administration had brought an official release. It looks like it's a self-inflicted wound. You know, from where I sit, that is how I see it. As sad as it is, human life has been lost. No, regardless of the fact that they are political opponents, they are all Ghanaians. We need to respect lives, and under no circumstance should life be taken. So, but Recently, I think that recently, if you listen to statements from top echelons of our opponents, like the General Secretary, for instance, who had responded to the IGP when the IGP says we need to manage these groups, and he had come out clearly to rubbish that decision of the IGP, calling on political party leadership to manage such groups. And then our respected former president also coming to say that their party was born out of violence, blah, 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 blah. This thing has immediate and remote causes. And for me, these pronouncements coming from key political personalities was most unfortunate. It was out of place. I hear Mr. Johnson, I see you in Ketia himself, had to take to his heels. He should have stood there. He says that all these vigilante groups who are taking the law into their hands, when the IGP had called for them to be disbanded and all these groups to be collapsed, he says the IGP doesn't seem to know his job. He should have stood there to face the music. It's unfortunate. Under no circumstance should we have violence being perpetuated and visited on innocent people. Even where the person has wronged you, you have no reason whatsoever to take the law into your own hands and take somebody's, especially taking somebody's life. It's out of place. I'm happy the police service has come out with a release. Now, if you recall, our friends in the minority following the
and you hold on for me a bit. Let me introduce the Honourable Roxy Nelson at Afiamakwa is the MP for South. Honourable, welcome. Thank you very much, Council. Good to have you. As a Tuesday morning.
Oh, well, tiring
for you, but we'll survive. Yes.
You see,
so you're talking about the minorities.
Yes, after the what do you call it? The recent by-election. Some of the key, known faces of our brothers even said that, they don't even believe in the police. Sometimes we just need to be a bit measured. Things happen, we all get worried about it. We think that we need immediate solutions. People are not measured in their criticism and they tend to say all manner of things. Now, it is the same police. Yesterday, I monitored the news, the media, and then you have the regional secretary, the Ashanti regional secretary of the NDC, saying that, well, let's leave this to the police. And I got surprised. At one breath, some of our colleagues are saying they don't even believe in the police. But on this occasion, you want the police to investigate.
Are we playing political ping pong?
No.
With the issue of vigilantes. I'm asking this because there seems to be condemnation at one point, and then we get equalization on the other point.
I have never, for the records, I have never tried.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about both parties' positions. Would have elements within come say, oh, no, we don't support it, and this, no, we don't support it. Then we'll come and say, well, in 2012 this happened, in 2010 this happened, in 2016 this happened. So, you see, and I find it so appalling.
Yeah, it is appalling. There are some individuals who have been consistent. If they are condemning it, they've condemned it in total. But there are others who also blow hot and cold. Now, I don't know what, for the first time in the political history of this country, this is the first time after a by-election, a sitting president says, I have formed a commission of inquiry. And the people say it's not important. Now, listen to the declarations and the revelations that are coming out at the commission. The former president himself says that he doesn't even believe that the formation of a commission of inquiry is something that we should even use in getting to the bottom of this matter. My brother, I have witnessed by-elections at Etiwa, Cheripone, what do you call it, Akwatia. So people were shot, daylight, openly, people were shot. And it just ended there. Let me put on record, this is the first time such an inquiry is being conducted into such violent visitation to people, on people. I think that we all need to support it. People, even before the commission begins to work, people are rubbish it, that it's not going to end anywhere.
Some people have said that, look, the NDC's decision to step aside is what is giving us these revelations. Because if the NDC had been there, it would have been accusations and counter accusations, and we wouldn't have gotten the details as we're getting. Yesterday from DSP Azugu, for example, some of the very ridiculous things that were said. And it makes you get into a domain of fear, especially knowing that these people are the helm of affairs of the security institutions that must protect you.
For anybody to make that argument, anybody who advances that argument that it was because of our colleagues' decision to stay away, that is what led to the formation of the commission. I don't get the correlation.
Okay.
Where is the correlation? They decided not to stay away. No, they decided to stay away. And that is their right, and I respect it. The president, after, the whole brouhaha, examining the extent of violence that occurred, the gravity of the matter, thought that we shouldn't just go, even though we had footages, videos all over the place, we shouldn't just go and arrest people.
Okay.
But we should get to the bottom of the matter, especially where all by-elections that we've held in this country had tasted extreme violence.
The IGP
it was
says,
important, if I can just finish, it was important we get to the bottom of this matter. And I thought that all well-meaning Ghanaians, particularly I have issues with the former president, when he says that this is the office you've occupied before, and that you're prejudging the work of the commission. Even when the commission has not finished its work, the former president made a categorical statement that he doesn't even believe in the work of the commission. I was really taken aback that he should have at least waited for the commission to finish its work. And it is when there is, the president doesn't decide to not to act on it, then he will say that yes, this is one of what we do. We form commission, we form committees, reports come, and we don't act on it. But this one is also
very true.
It is possible, but this is the first time. You see, let's give the president the benefit of the doubt. This is the first time. I'm asking you, is it not the first time? This is the first time a by-election has been visited with violence.
That's a fact.
And the president has decided to form a commission of inquiry.
That's a fact. But the IGP says, look, we may be trying to solve a political problem with a security solution, and that's not good. And so he says, I appeal to both parties. Can you disband your vigilantes? And it's not the only IGP. John Kudalo has said, same Peter Namfuri. All the IGPs have all said, look, this is not the way to go. And yet the parties have stuck to their grounds and kept these, bodies alive and well.
Let me tell you,
Is the MPP, for example, at this point, in condemning it, willing to disband its vigilante groups?
Of course we are. I was not happy when I saw footage of my colleague, was it Honorable
Sam
George being assaulted. I was alarmed. What it means is that it can happen to me too.
Right.
Look, at Etiwa, I was assaulted. I was then the youth organizer then. I was assaulted. We kept cool. Police never investigated. We reported. Somebody drove through a crowd, MPP support crowd. Somebody drove through it. Opponents. No police investigation. We all went to sleep and it went quiet. That is why I think that we need to doff our cap to the president for this commission of inquiry and ensure that after 8 weeks, the reports, we make good use of the report. Why should a member of parliament be assaulted? It is, I condemn it. The party condemns it. And I say that we are willing to do the needful.
Okay.
But when people like Mr. Johnson, whom I respect so much, comes to, for want of a better word, takes the IGP to the cleaners and say that you don't know your work, you cannot tell us to disband these groups, and these same groups come after you, and this time you are running away. You should have stood there, actually.
Okay. Council,
it's unfortunate.
Council, stepping for me, it's unfortunate. Beyond the unfortunate speech and condemnation, why do we keep holding on to what we say is not good for us? Why?
First of all, let me use the opportunity to say good morning to my constituents in Peki Kwali Pevetongo, the South Line. Let me also use the opportunity to extend my condolences to the bereaved family of the young man who lost his life yesterday, very needlessly. And also to condemn, on certain terms, the violence, and particularly this was the Rainbow Star shooting. And the NDC is saying, yes, this may be an NDC event at which this took place. But we are picking snipers of information that indeed these may not even be NDC people at all. That is why the party has said the police should investigate. If my brother said yesterday we said we didn't have trust in the police, it was in respect of a particular incident. Why? Didn't they in the past say that they didn't have trust in the police and brought in people to come and train their private army? So let us be fair in our condemnation. These are things that we have, over the period, over the past 10 years, brought onto ourselves as political players. And we have come to a stage where we think we must pull the brakes and disband.
Are we ready to pull the brakes?
We need to. We need to. Because you see, I can cite instances. And let me go back just last week. The president decides to put regional capitals in other places. Party activists decide to go on a rampage. It's part of the problem we have. The rowdyism of our youth that are playing roles in our political parties is what we need to look at holistically. To the extent that we have singled some out to even arm them, it's a worry. So we must tackle the issues across board. And not to sit here and say that, for instance, the former president, GM, said he didn't have trust in the work of the commission. I'm a member of parliament. He's a city member of parliament. Parliament was investigating the matter. Before we could finish, the city president said the investigations will come to naught. So let us be fair. The president is saying by case law, by judicial reasoning, the findings of a commission of inquiry cannot result in a criminal prosecution. And we were asking for criminal prosecution as a political party. So it's of the opinion that if indeed you form a commission of inquiry to look into these matters, and indeed I've looked at the TOR of the commission, the terms of reference
right,
for the commission, it says that all matters accidental to that should be looked into. That is fair enough. But as a political party, the NDC is asking for criminal investigations into the matter and criminal prosecutions. We don't see that happening, and that is our worry. It doesn't mean that where the party is holding an event and two persons on a motorbike, supposedly in a t-shirt depicting the Hawks, shoots at our people, and one person is dead now, we shouldn't invite the police to investigate and prosecute. As a political party, we will not defend criminal conduct of any party member. And let me put it on record. No NDC person is defending this. We are saying, one, we suspect they are not NDC people. They may pretend to be wearing things looking like t-shirts of Hawks. No. So the police should investigate the matter as soon as possible and bring the perpetrators. If the person turns out to be a party executive or a party activist, so be it. But he or she should be brought to book.
Let me test the commitment of the NDC. You say that you wanted criminal prosecution,
yes,
and that the commission, will not serve that in the
that is the authority of the
but will staying back. If you say you are committed to solving this, what has become an albatross on our necks, will staying back from the sittings of the commission necessarily bring us that final break we are looking for to stamp on this matter?
Exactly so, because you see, if you participate, if you go to testify before the commission and pour out testimonies and accounts of events as they played out, and the commission comes out with its findings, conclusions, and findings and recommendations, to what end? To address the issue so that tomorrow it never happens? Or to do the appropriate thing, which is the needful thing to do, to prosecute crime as it has happened? We are asking that crime has occurred and crime ought to be punished. Otherwise, then we are giving ammunition to people to develop a life of impunity in matters such as this.
Are we not there already?
Yes,
Are
we may be there.
Are we not there
we
already?
may be there. I made that submission that I think it is time we pull the brakes. Right. That's what I mean. That where crime has occurred as a result of things like this, it should be severely punished. People are not getting punished. So they think, look, their party office was burnt last week. And we heard that some persons have been arrested and they've been released on bail. I'm a practicing attorney. So when somebody has been granted a police inquiry bail, that is fine. But we want a prima facie investigations to establish a prima facie case so prosecution can happen. If prosecutions are not happening, then
there's no deterrence.
Yes, then others will develop a spirit where they think that they can do these things and get away with. And I can give you litany of instances.
These vigilante groups get funding from elements within the political parties. These vigilante groups get support from them by utterance, by giving them money, by calling them mentors and all of that. And we know the people who, you know, kind of supervise or superintend over these groupings. And we say we want to disband it, and yet we have not called those people to order. That's not good as well.
You see, I can refer you to several contradictory comments from the leadership of the NPP in this matter. When the matters got to a head, there was a call. Before the comment that he referred to as Seydou Ketia as having made, the party chairman, Freddie Blaze, says, no, they become integral. In fact, they spent resources in training some of these boys. And we were in this country when it was revealed that they brought in foreigners to come and train them. So they will not disband them. They become integral to their party operations. John Boadu also said the same thing. It was then the general secretary of our party said, well, the IGP should be kidding everybody.
I spoke with Adekoka, Chairman Adekoka.
You see,
he called them ushers at some point. I asked him that question at the
for me,
I saw muscular men in khaki with red tops,
yes,
and he called them ushers.
For me,
said,
those are phonological palliatives, things that you say to suit the hearing. We must call a spade a spade. These are party operatives. And I am saying that they have been more institutionalized in the NPP than in the NDC. I am not being partisan. I am only saying that we must pull the brakes, both parts. And when people say NDC, NPP, it is not correct. Why? I, in my constituency, I have seen during the last campaign, I've seen operatives of the PPP in similar mood. So it is not as if it's only...
Are they following your lead, the NDC and NPP's lead?
I cannot say so, but I am only making the point that it's become a subculture of our political activities.
Which is wrong.
Which is wrong and which is dangerous. That's the point I'm making so far.
Okay.
Well, just a point.
Frank,
just a quick one. You see, the point has to be made that the formation of the Commission of Inquiry will not, and I'm happy he's a lawyer, will not stop anybody going on the path of pursuing a criminal case.
But we are not getting that directive.
Yeah, that's but the point is that the point is we live in this country. I have witnessed by-elections where under broad daylight people were maimed, people were killed. You see, and former President John Mahama, on many of the occasions, he was occupying high office. But he did not, please.
But that's why the people voted for change.
Let me just make a point.
That you've made that point already.
No, I want to emphasize that point. He didn't see the need for a criminal prosecution. He didn't see the need for a formation of Commission of Inquiry today. Today. And so that's not to me.
That cannot be correct. That cannot be correct. That cannot be correct.
Let me just finish.
He has always asked the police to investigate the matter.
That smacks.
Just like President Akufo-Addo has done, they were not seeing anything.
Look, when candidate Akufo-Addo has said that all die be die, following on the heels of what happened at Etiwa, I was a living witness of what happened at Etiwa, and then candidate Akufo-Addo says all die be die.
You took him to the cleaners.
Subsequently, he's become president, and he's called on the IGP.
I don't
Council, hold on.
You were in power then. Cousin, you hold on. You were in power then.
And I'm saying that.
And you took then Akufo-Addo to the cleaners and condemned him.
I'm saying that.
Now, with the benefit of hindsight, hindsight benefit, after having gone through all the process up to now, I will say we are never going to grow. Let's say that what Akufo-Addo then Akufo-Addo said was wrong. Today, former President Mahama says we were born out of violence, and when it comes to violence, we have no competitor. And then this same person who
Council,
had the opportunity,
not your disagreement.
This same person who had the opportunity then to engage in criminal prosecution then, where people were openly maimed and killed, didn't see the need for that. Didn't see the formation of a commission of inquiry. Now this same person is depicting such hypocrisy.
Frankie,
and he says,
Frankie,
he's going to meet the diplomat.
At this point, and this morning,
no, I agree. We need to move forward.
Look, we need to move forward.
Yes,
the president has consistently called on the IGP to make sure that the laws work. The chain of command, the chain of abuse of the public order, the nuisance that we have seen over time. The president at every stage has said to the IGP, let the law work. We can name all of them. We have not seen a single one of them.
I disagree with you.
No,
please, if you say properly, I'm coming with that for just a minute. If you say properly, it's relative. Look, there are known MPP youth activists who one way or the other were engaged in some violence.
Okay.
And were arraigned before the law court.
There were two issues in
that. Is that right or wrong?
There were two issues.
No, is that right or wrong?
So no.
No, I'm asking.
That's a blanket. I'm saying
they have gone through the due process. They were arraigned before court. There was a court judgment.
Honorable Frankie.
And if you say that is not
there were two issues in that matter, where a national security operative was pushed out of his office. Okay, and then subsequently they were put before a court. Some people broke into the court to rescue. They were charged for one, the other went uncharged. Then you go to the Tamale Teaching Hospital. The CEO of the hospital was sacked from his office. They picked the suspect, they advertised his photo, they put him out there. Nothing happened to him.
No, I'm not. I'm
saying that over time, when these things go unpunished, the people develop a certain attitude of, oh, nothing will happen. So let me go and do it.
He wants to come here. Just a quick one. You see, the point is that the point I want to make is that I'm saying that it's incorrect when you said the attitude towards or the action that was taken was inappropriate. I am saying that people had to go.
I said by saying that was not properly. I mean that, look, if you have a situation of 10 and you take just one.
It wasn't just one.
I'm just saying if you have 10 and you take one to deal with. I'm just giving you the Tamale Teaching Hospital example. And I'm saying that the suspect was picked up. We saw his photo. What happened to him?
You see, I will concede that overarchingly there is a bigger picture. And the bigger picture, as he said, that there's a certain attitude that is creeping into our body politics. And we need to nip it in the bud. That I agree. But I am saying that people should not play angel and jump on the high moral grounds and say that this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. Meanwhile, at your backyard, worse things are happening. And now, what he says is that they are picking sniper, that it is not their own people who did it. Hallelujah be that. But I mean, we're only praying that the police will do its work. And when the findings of the police comes out, I hope my brother will accept it in good faith.
It's just like what happened at Salaga when we were told that they are MPP youth and the MPP said they are not MPP youth. So we wait for the police to conclude. Honorable.
He says something regarding the statement made by JM that we were born out of violence. The man said so in contest. He said
should he have said it at all?
Yes, indeed. Why? Because you see, he says we as a country we are moving away from this sort of culture. So it is not in 2019 Ghana that this should be imagined, and that if anybody think that they could use violence to intimidate the NDC, they better think twice. And that, like the Phoenix, we rose from the ashes. So you can't use ashes and fire to threaten us. It has to be placed in context. This is a man who says my party has moved away from that culture. So the NPP should rather not be seen to be engaged in this sort of culture anymore. That is the context in which he said that. Now, my brother says the Kumasi issue. It is not the Kumasi issue alone. How do people storm court, take away their colleagues that are standing trial, and the Attorney General says that they don't have sufficient evidence to prosecute, to even investigate the matter further? And so anytime they get further investigations, they will prosecute that matter. I agree there's no time bar to prosecuting crime. But that matter is gone down under. Apart from Tamale, there was Koforia. He's the Eastern boy. He knew that they stormed the NIA office, locked it up for days. They had to go, it had to be begged for them to come and open. They were known. It happened in Takrady. It happened in Takwa. So let us get to a stage where we can, in one unison, in one tune, say that enough is enough.
Are we getting a commitment from Parliament?
You will get, as for Parliament, I can assure you that Parliament may take steps and may come out with resolutions directing the relevant state agencies to do that. He is a master statement maker, and I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure.
But May is on a note of probability.
No, it's not about. It's not on a note of probability.
Okay.
It's rather conditional.
Okay.
Because it will be contingent on other matters.
Right.
I'm sure leadership in Parliament may abide the outcome of the commission and see which direction they may give. Why?
I agree with my brother.
Yes.
But just a point. I agree with you
Yes.
perfectly. But you see,
we're wrapping up.
We all have their stakeholders.
Right.
There are a number of variables in this whole milieu of that is the key political players. People should not make some statements and then when they are questioned and then they say that I said it in context, I said it in this, I said it in this. It doesn't help. Let's all show that true commitment that we are doing away, we are purging our body politics of violence. And it has to reflect. General secretaries of parties must begin to speak with responsibility. Flag bearers should also speak with responsibility. After all, what? Look, when these things happen,
you are about boot for boot.
Our people, now you call for boot for boot. And then when the boot for boot is coming, I said, look at to his heels.
He had to boot.
He has to boot. So let's show a bit of responsibility. I think that we can get there. We are a very fine country. Sub-Sahara, Ghana, wonderful country.
Highly
Everybody
respected.
talks about it.
So,
but this thing is becoming unbecoming.
Yeah.
And why you see, when you asked him, he said that the NPP has more vigilante groups than they have.
Right.
More institutionalized.
More institutionalized.
But you have been in power more than us. More years than us.
Yes.
You have used more vigilantes
No,
than us.
They say the age of Methuselah has nothing to do with
In this context,
your Nook's days has had a lot of that.
So I think we
There
can
was
make
a powerful
progress.
Nooks president
We can make
in Casford.
he is a big brother, my senior colleague back at Casford. We can do something about it. I hope the police will get to work. And then, crime shouldn't be given political coloration. When that becomes part of our body politics, it's very, very.
Somebody
very
raised ACP Dr. Agbozo. He raised a point about the composition of the police council, and he said that look, we need to look at the structure of the police council because it lends influence on the police negatively. And some have said that look, yesterday what DSP Azugu said at the commission, you could clearly tell that something was not right with him, but hey, it could be acting on.
You see, my brother, we are governed by laws, and we have crafted our constitution. In fact, we model our constitution on constitution of Somalia.
Let's now get into a conversation with the Minister for Regional Reorganization and Development, the Honorable Dan Kwekubotwe. Chief, thank you very much. Most grateful for your time.
Thank you.
And congratulations to you. You pulled off the creation of the 6 new regions, named the capitals. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Was it tough?
I did not name the capitals. Mr. President named the capitals.
Yes. But was it tough?
Well, certainly. It's a new area. We've never had a ministry or a government on using the constitution to pursue this program. So like you go into a ministry, you have new people, you haven't worked before, there's no existing, structure, file, something that you can, as it were, rely on. So you have to create everything, start talking to people. So challenging but interesting.
I see, interesting. Now we've gone past the hurdle of creating the regions, naming the regional capitals. We have some ministers acting instead at that point. The next point is to look at development. And that's been a clarion call of everybody that, look, how do we make sure that the primary objective of creating these regions, which is development, is achieved? What's your plan?
Well, yes, Mr. President named the Ministry of Regional Reorganization and Development. So obviously people have been asking, if you finish the reorganization, then develop. Right. So obviously, in our budget for this year, which we started preparing last year, we put together in consultation with others. First, we knew that if they succeeded in the 6 regions, by succeeded means qualifying by the 50% turnout and the 80%. And assuming we had all the 6 qualifying, therefore there will be an establishment of 6 new regions. So we interacted with the local government service.
Okay.
They handle the decentralized departments. So we interacted with them that first you need to have the establishment in all these 6 regions. So in your budget, make sure you take care of it and cater for it and start, planning towards it. These are new regions. You will have to second people to take care of the regional administration, regional coordinating council, and all that. So we started that process, and you need that structure to pursue any developmental agenda. So we started that, and after the elections, in fact, this week today we are continuing our discussions with them. Then again, we also put up a consultation with National Development, the Ministry of Planning, some short, medium to long term. Regions are created. How did they start functioning? Where did this go and all that? Of course, the difficulty of not knowing the capitals and therefore being very careful about it meant that you could not go around looking for structures or spaces where you may build because you didn't know where the capital would be. So that action was not a bad. We had the immediate things that you have to do to the medium term. Then more importantly, after the elections, Mr. President on 3rd or 4th of January set up this ministerial team he talked about during the inauguration, yes, and asked us to give me the immediate plans, something that should let people know that with all these aspirations and with all this enthusiasm that have been met, what will make them feel that yes, we have achieved our long-held desire, and this is the reason why we can feel it. So immediate developmental plans. So that has been put up.
Okay.
But it's only fair that we should wait for the regional coordinating council to be set up, because that comprises district chief executives, presiding members of the assemblies, and chiefs from the area will come. In addition to this establishment that I'm talking of, the new regional minister, they'll put before them that, well, the National Development Planning Commission have done some work. District Ministry of Planning, Professor Jambo Alfred, is meeting with my ministry to try to, as it were, go through some of these initial plans that we were made. Yeah. So when those things are done, then we'll sit with the new regional administration setup, because it's only fair that they also go through. We met some of the district chief executives during the campaign time. We are not involved in the campaign, but they drew their attention. They should come with their coordinating directors. In case you succeed, what are the plans you have? First as a district, and then we consolidate it. What about 2 or 3 major things that you think that, in addition to what is being done in your districts, you have done your program, their budget, their plans already. But there should be 2 or 3 things maybe that will capture the real desires. And
the RCC will have to look at that to deal with.
So since we didn't have the RCCs, we got the district assemblies to start thinking about these things. And then when the RCC are there, because they are part of the RCC,
absolutely,
then we'll consolidate
an integral part of it. Interesting that the choice of regional capitals came with a lot of ethnic, if you like, dimensions. Have we been able to, after we selected the 6, been able to rally the people around one flag so that they can forge forward? Have we been able to do that?
I think so. In actual fact, a lot have been done. we anticipated it.
Okay.
Right from 2017. And in actual fact, if you visited me today in my office, I'll show you files that had application or petition for regional capital in 2017.
Wow.
Yes.
People were yearning for it.
Yes, 2017. That's even before the Justice Global Commission finished their work.
Wow.
As whether they will qualify or even the commission will recommend that their petition should be accepted. People apply for capital. Yes.
So you
2017,
anticipated this?
And we started working towards it. In actual fact, it got to a time we had to be a bit, I don't know what the right word to use, but we had meetings with them and said, look, no discussion of capitals. Any attempt by anybody to start Joseph for capital, we will not entertain that. And therefore our petition will not, we don't have our involvement in it. And the chiefs themselves met. Fortunately, this thing was all spearheaded by the chiefs.
Okay.
So we met and there were serious discussions about that.
There are calls for...
And they knew it. They knew, they have ideas which some of the places should be and all that. And they met among themselves. And I really, really thank the chiefs because they said no, under no circumstance are we going to get this capital thing as were disturb the duty we've had. Yes. And many of them, I can, in 1 or 2 places, they actually met. It's easy to, maybe now that it's over, we can talk about it. 2 places.
Okay.
The one in the northeastern Savannah.
Okay.
The structure of the chieftaincy.
Right. Social anthropology.
And then they have overlaws, you know. So when they meet and do these things, I mean, there's one main overlord, one main king, who is easier to get people to follow. The unfortunate thing that happened in Salaga is so unfortunate and so sad because...
Did you anticipate that too?
No, because you see, they were one of the people who were so organized in their structure, in their campaigning structure, very well organized. They got people to lead it. They had different departments of their campaign. They copied my office. Director of campaign program, director of this, educational program, agriculture. They had all these things in place. And in that structure, to break down all this, which we were so grateful with, there was no partisanship approach in their desire. They have a committee. You see that there's an NDC secretary here, NPP secretary, PPP. They are fundraising committee. You have NPP treasurer, NDC treasurer, and they work together.
So it was a wild mix of everybody.
Very wild mix. And they have an overlord. And after they campaigned the results, they all met in Damango Senior High School. They said, I thank all of you, the way you have worked for us to get this thing, and thank them, dissolve the campaign committees. They now should have committees that will help them in their developmental agenda. And they actually set committees.
Let's talk about...
so it shouldn't have happened. There was all the chiefs in the kingdom met, all the opinion leaders met, and they actually discussed their capital. They openly did it. And there was consensus.
So they chose their capital.
So it's just an purely isolated by some disgruntled, youth.
Let's talk about the allocation of 20 million to develop. What went into it? What went into the calculation to decide that let's give them 20 million?
Oh no, that was Minister of Finance, but that's where the key word is seed.
Okay.
So it's seed money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seed money.
It's seed
But
money.
what went into calculation?
Oh sure, in the budget, in the allocation of all ministries submit their budget plans. If I'm sure you may know, the ministries submit their plans and it's about 50 million, you'll get 30 million. You don't get all that you need. But the important is that they have to take off. That today they've been set up. There should be some what they call it. They have to look for accommodation.
Okay.
How do they get it? They have to get some furniture, they have to get many things, they have to send people around. There should be some seed capital for any organization to take off. So that is it. So I don't think that is going to be used for to implement the whole development agenda. Else, Mr. President wouldn't have set up this ministerial committee to come out with what you call immediate developmental plans.
What do you say to those who think that, look, your work is done, you have done a fantastic job, you should, your ministry should be collapsed because there's the Ministry of Planning, the Ministry of Special Initiative, Business Development, there's the Ministry of Local Government. I mean, there are a lot more ministries that could possibly handle this. And so now that you have done it, you should go to other duties. And
so we are discussing it now. I will tell you that as of today, last night I was on the phone with the regional minister for Northern Region.
Okay.
No, discussing some of the immediate things that should be done. We have to now go back to the regions and talk. We have been working with them, we've been talking for the past 2 years, and it's easier for you to continue with them to discuss all their plans. And I've told you earlier on that we asked for their developmental plans from the districts, and now have to find a way of consolidate it. And what we have already done, because we have submitted the plan Mr. President requested, gave us 2 weeks. It's ready. We have to go back and see how we interface with them. So there's still work to be done towards the development. That's why the ministry was creating regional reorganization and development.
So your work is not ended yet?
Well, the work is not ended because we have the development aspect to pursue, and I think we are quite clear what we want to do. But we always work to the pleasure of Mr. President. Yes.
Interesting. Let's finally look at the how to draw the district assemblies along. And I'm asking this question because, yes, we have had them. We have created some new districts and all of that. But the people at the grassroots say, look, because the DC or the MC doesn't answer to us, he answers to the president, we can't even find him. So the pressure comes on those of you who are MPs to come and solve the problems that the DCs should have solved. They are the development agents. How do we change that psyche and draw them along in these 6 new regions so that we can at least be a shining example to the others?
Well, it can only be, it's a matter of policy. The DCs are not elected. They are appointed by Mr. President. Again, if you look at the Local Governance Act, I think like 936 or so, for the first time, the act that we have has a major part that talks about regional coordinating council, their role and their function. I think it's part 8 of it also.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, and if we really follow it, it's a question of doing what we all have agreed to do in our laws and our regulations. The planning function, the coordination, they have, I think, supervisory functions all there. And they even outline some of departments and the role they should play. And then the monitor.
IGF and everything
if
else.
the region is really doing that. Because in the first place, the RCC, as we have just already debated, is the presiding member of an assembly. The DC, we are part of the RCC. So we all go with your development plans and say, this is what we are going to do. So with there's also the argument that with this regions of them being smaller, they should better supervision. So we can have value for money. The County Council should not leave the assemblies to their own destiny. They should be able to look, we say you do this, are you doing this? And getting regular reports supervises them very well.
Some will say, let's go back to the upper regions, Upper East, Upper West, the example was created, Greater Accra created from the Eastern region. And if you look at the speed of development down south and compare that to what happened up north, there's very little that can, because we have chosen to centralize everything down south. What's the plan in trying to move some things up there as well, so the people up north can benefit?
Exactly. That actually gave rise to these whole petitions and desire to have their own region. Because what they say government, they want government to be closer to them, and 2, they want isolated development. 2 main things that run through all the petitions. That's why there's this thinking that we don't need to have many of these government structures in one place. You know, if you have the regional headquarters of feeder roads, where people are there designing, doing this, taking care of roads and quantify and going to supervise. It doesn't have to be where the regional minister is. It can be a different place. You know, the fact that there's that structure there in a geographical area within the district. So if you have that structure, we have bungalows of heads of institutions there to be done. And therefore, we have a feeling that they will understand us, they will know our problems more. All this cry for this. Today, I think about some new districts are being integrated. Why? There's always a cry for it. Because people think that it means that government is closer to them. So we are saying that, why can't you also look at this idea? And many people have written to Mr. President, and there's that thinking, which is seriously being considered, that shift some of these heads of institutions to certain areas. Then the idea that once you are here, you may, by all means, government will by all means be forced to come close to us or develop that area, and the people will benefit from it. You know, and it's also going to improve upon the existing coordination that is expected of the RCCs. Then the average Ghanaian will feel that yes, government is closer to it, and also they will see the development because they set out the example. And Mr. President said that there will be affirmative action. That is why, even before the regions were inaugurated, Mr. President calls this immediate developmental needs to be considered. So we are not going to have a situation where after 10 years, 20 years, you see there's no difference in Kenya. This, it will happen under Mr.
I thank you very much. So it won't happen, that's what he says. The Honorable Dan Kweku Botwe, he is my namesake, of course, and he is the Minister for Regional Reorganization and Development. Let me say happy birthday to my sweet mother. Come forward, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Mission. Mission is brought to you by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, UK Aid and the EU. Well, today we are in the Katamanso municipality of the Greater Accra region, and the discussion for today is about the District Assembly Common Fund. What are the success stories, the challenges and the way forward? With me here is Madam Georgina Asari. She is the Municipal Director of Social Welfare, as well as Eric Nahi is the Chairman of the Ghana Society of the Physically Disabled. So we'll first begin with Madam Georgina Asari and take her brief remarks.
In the year 2018, the government of Ghana came up with new directives as to how to disburse the disability fund. And prior to that, we used to disburse it by giving them, the beneficiaries, physical cash to buy whatever they needed. And this was misused. So when the new directives came, we complied with it and interviewed the beneficiaries as to what they needed. So we bought their felt needs for them. Some asked for deep freezers, others sewing machines, knitting machines, ovens, groceries, and other accessories. So we bought all those for them and distributed to them. About 300 people applied for the fund, but 92 people were served due to insufficient funds. The others are on the waiting list, and God willing, 2019, when we get money in the common fund, we will see to them too.
I'm Eric Naanan, Chairman for Ghana Society for Physically Challenged, Bokatamaso branch. I'm also representing them in the Municipal Assembly as a DFD Chairman. I'm there as a person with disability and looking to that everything will go well. And actually, the fact is, we don't have program. We distribute the items to them according to how they apply it on the phone. The only challenge we have is the money that is being given to us is very meager. So we appeal to the government to increase it and come in time.
Let's now find out from beneficiaries how the District Assembly Common Fund has helped them to bring about an improvement in their lives.
First, na hami nke ho ngai kelai shi agbene ngai kelai jelewa no la yenye iskashe wonye no be ngai pe ho.
I used to sell charcoal and firewood, but now charcoal is expensive and this is not enough for me. I'm pleading with government to increase the 3% District Assembly Common Fund for persons with disability to benefit us more. Had I not received this support, I would have been a beggar on the streets.
Common fund there. First, no credit.
I used the support to sell credits, but this did not give me profits. So I stopped and I had a sewing machine from the 3% District Assembly Common Fund. I'm now waiting for the next disbursement to continue lessons in sewing.
How has the District Assembly Common Fund also benefited you?
Okay, I'm the new Senate voter. Actually, I would say I've received nothing. So right now I'm just pleading with the government to help me for low cost, that's provisions to occupy with store, with the sense that my daddy has provided me with a store, and now since there's nothing to make it full, it's always closed. So I'm pleading with the government to help me to fill it.
So have you picked the form yet?
Yes, I picked the form and I want to, it's here to be given out. Let's see. I have a form. Yes, that's my form.
So you're hopeful that after submitting this form, you get something?
Actually, yes.
I am currently not a beneficiary of the 3% District Assembly Common Fund for persons with disability. I've heard of it. I want to sell charcoal if I am given support.
I saw Mr. Winda. Come from there. He said, I have me go. She, if I no 3 million. No one can scan back up with it.
I was given 300 Ghana cedis, but this is not enough to cater for my family. I am hoping that with the next disbursement, I will be a beneficiary. I, however, want an increment in the funds allocated for persons with disability.
And the 300 no care, humble me no cafe.
Phone card. If I no Nikakani, it
in bed between Swakimesa, Abahaming I. Naami 5 million.
I had 500 cedis and charcoal from the 3% District Assembly Common Fund for persons with disability, but the charcoal was dusty and of low quality. I'm however managing with it.
She get befemini in Namway. My feeling, my feeling, I can't buy and I can't feel. Calling my home.
We'll now take some questions and then we'll allow Madame Georgina Asari to give us some answers.
I want to ask that this is devoter as I spoke. When will it take long for me to receive all?
She has just applied. We have to wait for a while. When the common fund hits the account, we will work on it. All those who have applied for assistance, we will group them together, assess them, and see exactly what they want, and then how we are going to assist you. So when that time comes, we invite you. I hope you have your phone number on it. Yes. So we invite you, and then we have a chat with you, so that whatever you need, will provide for you.
New York, we qualify. Only a metal, few am happy. Only get hit, like a nine, near my home. Only Nkadom, new banning. Can you don't go and banning to one only she go and 10 years. Go on, qualify. When I'm a ton of quamia. A fat anony, nigga, lie.
Yes, this lady was given some funds some years ago, but last year when the government's directive came, she didn't receive anything. So now that she has applied, we are going to look to see to it that when the money hits her account, she will also benefit from it. Whatever she requested for, we will make sure she gets it so that she will use it to enhance her livelihood.
Ni ahamie. Akeke mfose mie nkema akaseni kwena akeke mfose mie koni amekemia ya wum ewo impa mefaiwa akona amekemia wa wum bona feni imanye makwenyi ke ya him.
The lady who wanted to learn a trade, she was given money to go and enroll as a seamstress. So now that she has delivered, she can still go back and then have it done. So it's not too late. You can still go back and do it.
Fane from 5 kuni kana kahawo ifa kuni ahanifa kuni utani wo fo kafi wo kafi ja ke na kanu ko nu pa pe ke hani wo hwe wo hiashi wo mpa fai na mi na koko ka jabni ene pesi no ta ni aham ni na ko do mpa mpai kuni api na kanu ko am.
We as a department or as an assembly, we are waiting for the common fund to hit the accounts. We have a lot of people on the waiting list, and as soon as the money comes, we will make sure we disperse so that each and every one of them will get whatever he or she has asked for. So we are appealing to the government to release the money on time. We have third and fourth quarter of last year money to be given to us, but now for this year we haven't also received anything, so we are waiting. We have third, fourth, and then first quarter of 2019 in arrears.
Actually, I first of all thank Almighty God that this program come to the end successfully. I'm the chairman, and I'm having about over 300 people with disability under my leadership. So all these people apply for the fund. Most of them are yet to attend. So therefore, I appeal to the government so that the money, you release the money so that we attend to the rest of the people.
Thank you very much for joining us for this discussion on the District Assembly Common Fund. This program is brought to you by Star Ghana with funding from the Newday, UK Aid and the EU. Thanks so much for your time.
Well, statistics in Ghana show that women form more than half of the population, but when it comes to decision making, their participation is still low. There are 2 women who are planning to change the status quo by getting involved in the district assembly elections, and they are vying to be assembly women in their area. Let's step out with Portia and find out what these 2 women plan to do.
District Assembly about Twoi, Hana Kovoti. What for Vijana? Mouthpiece of the people, development for the people. Hana Kovoti, District Assembly about Twoi, Hana Kovoti.
They are bold, assertive, and ready to make a difference and break stereotypes of women in politics.
Ni oko fonu ake osmo ni bohu oko ya wo me ka hye ko bona fe ko ni ma ke wo kuchi amri.
I'll advise her to be humble and not mind those who will insult her during the campaign period. They are family women who run businesses and are ready to lock horns with their male counterparts in the District Assembly level election in September this year.
Progress of your community is right in your hands.
Since you want to contest and bring development to our electoral area, I, your mother, I am rallying behind you. So I had a discussion with Edna Dede Tete and Regina Dede Amankwa on their readiness to contest the District Assembly level elections in the Lalwe electoral area.
Edna, you're an aspiring assemblywoman for Lalwe. How has it been so far? This is your second time.
In fact, to a woman being in politics is not an easy task. But you know, we do manage. Because in politics, it's only not the men. We also have our say in politics. Women are passionate when it comes to politics. So we also do our part to develop our areas.
Why do you want to become an assemblywoman?
I want to become an assemblywoman because
I want to go to the assembly and lobby things for my area, and then to empower the women and the children, especially in my area. And you have to be strong to face the men. And especially the last 4 years, I went as a unit committee member, and I went with 9 men, and I won. So I say, yes, Antua, being in politics, you have to be strong.
This is your second time. The first time, what happened?
It wasn't an easy task. And one way or the other, they say assembly elections is not partisan, but I bet you it is. So when I got there, I saw that there was something that they were saying, party favorite. But it doesn't matter, provided the person is capable and competent and can work for the people. That's the most important.
So you mean you're a party member?
Yeah, but I went on independent. So because of that, I couldn't get the nod. But I was able to place second.
If elected, they promise to foster development in their respective electoral areas.
I will tell all my electorates that coming September, God willing, Edna will be contesting an assembly member. And I bet them I won't let them down. So this time around, they should give me their massive support so that when I get to the assembly, come what may, our wants and our needs will be met. We are appealing to TV3 management that for a woman to come out is not an easy task. So we do plead that this time they should come to empower the women in politics so that what the men cannot do, when we get there, we can.
Come September, I'm appealing to all my friends, my fans, and then my campaign team that they should help me in prayers. They come out massively and vote to Regina Newday Amankwa Obi-Wan to become the Lalu Electoral Assemblywoman. And then for my campaign, we are planning for TV3 to come out and support us. Being a woman is not an easy thing.
Vote for Edna Dede Tete, aka Bisanye, mouthpiece of the people, development for the people.
Vote for Regina Newday Amankwa Obi-Wan for hard working and then humble for the people.
District Assembly about eligible voters in Ghana.
And that was a report by Portia Gabo for Mission Ghana, which is supported by UK Aid and Star Ghana. Certainly, we still have more for you on Newday, so don't change the station. Stick and stay with us. When we come back, we'll be talking about the law and what the feminist view is concerning consensual sex. Also, we'll talk about predatory behavior and what it means for people to be in your space. Stay with us. Welcome back. So now it's time for us to talk about this very important message, because I think it's been trending on social media where people are giving dissenting views on what they think consensual sex is, what they think predatory behaviors are, what they think intrusion of personal space is. But I'll start off by talking to a feminist in the person of Franca Efe Planche. Good morning, Franca.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Not bad. It's almost 2 a.m. here, so I have to hurry up and sleep.
Right. We certainly will get you to that. But let's get into the interesting conversation of what has been going on social media, where we've had allegations of people thinking they've been raped and others thinking it's been consensual sex, in the sense that, you know, a man would have mutual agreements with a female to have sex, but turn out to be told he has raped her. What's your view? And coming from the feminist position, what do you think is your take?
I think that consensual sex is really simple, right? Consensual sex is sex without any form of coercion, emotional, physical, financial, whatever. It's when both parties are willingly and actively engaged in the act from the beginning through to the end.
Right.
Because I can give my consent in the beginning and I can say stop, don't continue in the end. So it's really ongoing, enthusiastic, yes. Yes, it is ongoing, and it should be the recipient's reaction to the gesture should be very enthusiastic. And we can show enthusiasm in so many ways: body language, facial expressions, and all of that. If you had to push before you got the yes, and at the end of the day, the demeanor of the person you are engaging in the sex with is, you hurry up and get done, let's get it over and done with. That's not consensual sex.
Right.
You understand? So it's a yes that is ongoing, that is enthusiastic, that shows in every way, as I said, facial expressions and all of that. And then one important thing is, sometimes there may be consent, as I said, eventually there may be consent. But when there's a power dynamic, when there's a power play present, it can also impede in how people say yes. And so if you're my boss and my job really depends on me succumbing to your urges, I may say yes, but that's not consensual sex. I may have said, okay, continue, let's do this, but that's not consensual. If something really is at stake, a survival, if something that really depends on my survival and my advancement is at stake, and I still go ahead and do it, that's not consensual sex. So it should be sex that I am willing to participate in on my own accord, without any form of manipulation, any form of coercion, any form of, force.
Franca, let me just come in there. Don't you think it's a bit of a gray area, in the sense where if the person is talking about it and saying yes or no, that's open, that's flat. But where you have to discern the demeanor of the person in the act, doesn't that make it very difficult for people to identify whether it was consensual or coerced?
I think that is why we are having these conversations, because there's a lot of social conditioning on both sides. We can't blame one party. There's been a lot of social conditioning. You have a situation whereby sometimes a guy can make advances. A girl says no, he stops, and later on the girl is making fun of him to her friends that this guy cry, he's slow. Or the girl will text him later on and say, you cry, you are slow, papa. So I said no and you stopped. So there's a lot of social conditioning where girls are told they have to play it coy, they have to play it shy, they have to stretch a guy so that he, a man has to play it hard. Like she has to play hard to get. And then there's also that aspect of, so it informs both parties. And that's why these conversations are important. Very, very important. We women, and everybody who is sexually active or whatever, we should all be able to be bold with our yeses. We should mean our yeses. We should mean our no's. No game playing. If you want it, you go ahead. If you don't, you say no and make it firm. And also, we need to get boys, we need to raise a certain quality of men where the slightest indication of withdrawal, the slightest indication of this interest in the entire act must put you off, must immediately turn you off. And if you come over here in the West, it gets to the point which I said, the least show of I'm confused, okay, I'm not sure, okay, maybe I wanted it in the beginning, but I'm not very sure now. Okay, I'm not enjoying. The least show of discontentment, the least show of withdrawal of consent, you have to stop. And once we are all respecting these boundaries, it's going to push the girls to also be firm. It's going to push the girls to go after what they want. So if they really want, they're going to engage willingly, so that we all get rid of all these social conditioning that tells us that even though we want it, we must be shy and we must say no. So these conversations are necessary. There's a lot that both parties have to unlearn. And relearn.
So let's touch on the predatory behaviors, where people are of the view that if, let's say, I decide to go out into a boys' school to hug them or just, spend some time with them by touching them in whatever way it is, I mean, you've seen those issues trending, and so I wouldn't even want to touch on the main subject. But talking about predatory behaviors in general, or the feminist view, what do you think this is all about? Do you think we have a claim in the first place?
So there's a claim. Predatory behavior is, behaviors and actions that tend to put the recipient of the said action or behavior in harm's way, in an uncomfortable way, and in a position where they don't have agency over their decisions to say, hey, I don't want this, you have to stop. And then there's also intrusion of spaces, people's personal spaces, where you enter someone's space without prior notice or without their approval. And sometimes people capitalize on so many things. You sense somebody's vulnerability, and then you capitalize on that. Sometimes you capitalize on your own social capital, right? You capitalize on your image, you capitalize on your popularity, you capitalize on so many things to take advantage of other people's vulnerabilities. So sometimes the intention may not be that of malice, but the optics from the outside, right, is what feeds into these conversations. And so, I mean, and people say, oh, but the girls themselves don't complain, or the girls are not complaining. There are women in abusive relationships where it is somebody that has come from outside to come and say you are being abused, right? Or that this is really not good. I mean, domestic violence happens in people's personal homes, yet is a national issue, is a national concern. So sometimes let's not look at, okay, so the person who was being harmed, right, was not complaining, or she looked like she was enjoying it, so it's not a crime, or it's not bad. That can't be the only definition of what we used to term an intrusion or predatory behavior. You can have a kid who has been defiled ever since she was a toddler. She will grow up seeing it as a norm. You can't tell me because now she has grown up seeing it as normal and she's engaging in it, that is okay for a toddler to be, engaged in these acts with an adult. And so sometimes we need to allow for some of these conversations to happen, because again, there's a lot of conditioning that we need to unlearn. And sometimes if these conversations don't trigger them, we will never get past them. You understand? We'll never get past them.
Indeed. And that's why we're having this conversation with you today. And we'd like to say a very big thank you. Time will not allow us, but we'll certainly get your views on any other opinion when we comes to feminism with you. We'd like to say thank you to you, Francisca Efe Planche, for joining us this morning. But let me come to studio, and Sedem Ofori is joining me. He is here with us at Media General. He's the head of news. Sedem, so we've been talking about, the feminist view of what the law probably says about consensual sex, what it says about predatory behavior and intrusion of personal space. But as a guy, what's your take on these things that are even going around on social media, where, John Dumelo actually went to hug some ladies and the ladies didn't complain, but another person found it predatory and started commenting, and we've been having this back and forth with the discussion. What's your take?
Well, my take is this. First, I'd like to look at it from two perspectives. First is a proper definition of what constitutes a feminist. There are different strands of feminism. Okay, there are those who are more akin to liberal sort of a relationship that is balanced between male and female, the equity feminists, the hardline feminists also. So if this is the take of a feminist on it, I want to know which strand of feminism we are talking about here, because there are those who feel that, look, essentially feminism or the rights of women should be balanced with those of men as well, so that neither class rules over the other. The problem with patriarchy is real. That there are men, we have a society that is dominated by men, has been dominated by men for a very long time. So culturally, certain things that we take for granted, touching women, holding women, hugging them, we think that it's normal. It is supposed to be normal, except that with time there are those who have abused it. Therefore, there's the caution. So I sympathize with the call by feminists that, look, these things need to be looked out for, but it also has to be put properly within certain context. I don't know what the prior relationship that Dumelo had with these individuals, because intent is also really important in the matter of consent. What was the intention of the individual? If we live in a society, a culture such as some of these Arab states, where kissing on the lips, whether it's even a man and between two males, etc., is regarded as normal, as part of the culture, would you say that the person needed consent to be able to do so? Unless perhaps the person expressed a certain intent that was malicious, etc. You can't conclude that the person, intended to cause harm. In the particular case of Dumelo, going about on campus giving hugs for Vows Day, I would rather want to look at it from the perspective of the individuals on whose behalf some are saying that we should be cautious because it constitutes abuse. I didn't get an inkling from the video that they were worried. Perhaps the point of having to, I think maybe he wanted to surprise them, you know, because what I saw in the video was that the door was opened by a lady, not him. And the lady popped her head out to see who it was.
And notices the celebrity.
Notices that it's a celebrity, etc. If you follow the trend of events, you get the sense that he perhaps didn't even think that anyone was going to be naked in that room. The door was open. This individual felt that, hey, wait, let's put ourselves together before we see you. Do I accuse him of exhibiting predatory instinct or predatory behavior? I think that'll be far-fetched in my view. That is, taking these from just the video that I've seen, it'll be far-fetched to say that he was predatory. And let's also be careful, because I think that there's an objective to the appeal for us not to violate people's individual spaces, their privacy. It's an area that is protected by law, but I think it should also be done in a manner that does not compromise on our human relationship, our humanity. I don't think there's anything wrong with hugging someone merely because you're a celebrity. I don't think that the women who allow themselves to be hugged were doing so from a position of weakness. Women are strong, intelligent, brilliant, and know what their rights are. And so I'm generally against this narrative of projecting women in such relationships, something that is between a man, maybe two consenting adults, and we always look at it as the woman is weak and the man is trying to take advantage of him. I really do not subscribe to that sort of thinking at all.
But I certainly agree with you and the point you're coming from, and I'm sure viewers have also been able to take a cue from what you're saying. Everyone has their opinion, and it's allowed that you air your opinion. But I think what I don't like is the social media insults that have been going around, because if she aired her opinion, they're probably where she's also coming from. This is her take, and so we're allowed to have a discussion. And that's what we've been doing this morning. I was joined by Francisca Ife-Plange on Skype, and Sedem Ofori was here in studio with me to discuss this very interesting topic. But I'm sure we'll touch on it again for you to be able to pick another thing or two from this important discussion. But make sure whatever you're doing, if it's sex, at least you have consent. If it's intruding into anyone's space, you have their permission. Make sure you're doing everything within the remits of the law. But that's all we have for you on New Day. We'll be back tomorrow on your screen, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we sign off. It will be myself and Johnny Hughes. Stay with us. Go out there and be productive. Have a blessed day.